picture this, right? It's 3:45 p.m. on a Thursday.
Oh, the absolute worst time of the week.
Literally the worst. You have this massive mountain of professional communication to get through before you can even, think about logging off.
Yeah.
You need to send a project status update, a summary of a recent compliance issue, and like an email to your entire team about some new workflow policy.
Which nobody wants to read anyway.
Exactly. So you open a blank document, and there it is, the blinking cursor, just pulsing, mocking you.
It really does feel like it's mocking you.
It does. We all know that universal dread of the blank page. I mean, whether you're prepping for a massive quarterly review or just desperately trying to clear your inbox so you can go home, staring at a blank screen is, well, it's the ultimate cognitive time drain.
It really is. I mean, that blinking cursor, it represents pure friction.
Yeah.
It's the physical barrier between knowing what you need to communicate and actually getting the words out of your head and onto the screen.
Right.
And that demands a type of heavy cognitive lifting that is just incredibly exhausting, especially, like you said, at the end of a long day.
Yeah, your brain is just fried. Well, welcome to today's deep dive. We have a highly practical mission today.
Extremely practical.
Yeah, we are not going to talk about, the technical mechanics of how to build the perfect prompt or the underlying code of an AI.
No, we're skipping all that.
Right. We are looking at how to fundamentally change your daily workflow by using AI as a literal drafting partner for your professional documentation.
Which is a game changer, honestly.
It really is. So the source material we're pulling from today, it focuses heavily on healthcare administrators.
Yeah, which is a very specific world.
It is, but hear me out. These are professionals who spend a massive, honestly, like a shocking chunk of their day just writing memos, incident reports, policy updates.
They write so much.
So much. But as we go through this, you, listening right now, you are going to see that these insights apply perfectly to your own professional life. I mean, whether you manage a logistics supply chain or run a marketing agency or lead a software development team.
Exactly. The context in our source material might be, a hospital network.
Mm-hmm.
But the fundamental architecture of professional communication, it's entirely universal.
Right.
Like a memo justifying a budget increase. It follows the exact same underlying logic regardless of the industry.
Right.
You've got a problem, an impact, a proposed solution, and a requested action.
Okay, let's unpack this. The core thesis we're looking at today is that drafting these unglamorous, everyday, but, totally essential documents.
Boring stuff.
Yeah, the boring stuff. Things like status updates, compliance summaries, talking points. This is actually one of the absolute strongest use cases for large language models.
Oh, undoubtedly. And to understand why that is, we have to look at how these models actually function on a fundamental level. Yeah. I mean, professional communication is a completely natural, almost perfect fit for AI because of its training diet.
Its training diet. I like that phrase.
Yeah. Well, large language models, they're trained by ingesting just almost unfathomable volumes of written text from across the internet and, digitized archives.
Right.
And because of that massive exposure, they've internalized the highly repetitive patterns, the rigid structures, and the predictable conventions of professional writing.
So they're essentially fluent in, per my last email and circling back.
Yes. They absolutely speak corporate. It's their native language.
Mm-hmm.
When you ask an AI tool to draft a memo, it isn't reasoning through the business problem like a human manager would, right?
It's not actually thinking.
Exactly. It's not thinking. It is utilizing probability. It's drawing on millions of observed patterns to predict which words and sentences should mathematically follow your prompt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it does that to produce something that inherently looks, feels, and reads like a standard corporate document. The formatting is mathematically aligned with those learned patterns. It understands the anatomy of business communication. Because, business communication is highly standardized.
It really is. I mean, I look at this as treating the AI like a highly efficient template factory.
That's a great way to put it.
Because, for most professionals listening right now, the struggle isn't knowing the facts. You know your job. You know exactly why your current project is delayed or why you need 3 additional headcount for the next quarter.
Right. The facts aren't the problem.
Exactly. The struggle is figuring out how to start saying it, how to frame the very first sentence to sound professional.
Yeah, overcoming that initial hurdle.
But hang on. If I already know the core facts I want to convey, right, and the AI is really just taking my raw thoughts and dressing them up to look like a standard run-of-the-mill memo,
Yeah.
what is the actual return on investment here? Like, am I just saving 3 minutes of typing speed?
Well, see, that question gets to the very heart of the paradigm shift in modern productivity. The practical value you're getting isn't that the AI writes better than you do.
Okay.
I mean, you could undoubtedly write a more nuanced, highly personalized memo if you sat down and spent an hour carefully crafting it.
Sure, if I had an hour.
Right, but who has an hour? The value is the complete elimination of that initial friction. It writes faster than you do. It gives you clay to sculpt.
Ah, I love that. So it's really about speed over poetry, getting something, anything, on the page immediately.
Exactly. You describe the core facts, and the tool gives you a first draft in seconds. Now, that first draft is rarely perfect, but it instantly shifts your brain out of generation mode and into editing mode.
Which is so much easier.
It is. That speed advantage is what actually frees you up to spend your limited cognitive energy on the parts of the document that require real, actual human judgment.
Like the actual strategy part.
Yes, you spend your time on the strategy, the empathy, the persuasion. You focus your energy on refining the ideas rather than, stressing over the formatting of the opening paragraph.
You shift from building the house from scratch to just rearranging the furniture.
That's it, exactly.
So our sources break down 3 specific things these models consistently get right when given a well-constructed prompt. And the first is creating that initial structural scaffolding.
Right, the scaffolding. Because they predict what text should come next based on established structural patterns, they naturally create logical flow.
Right.
Like if you ask a language model to generate a meeting agenda, it doesn't give you a dense block of text.
No, that would be terrible.
Right. It automatically produces a sequenced list. It'll naturally allocate estimated time slots for each item. It'll write brief, action-oriented topic descriptions. The structural scaffolding it provides is almost always logically sound because it's seen literally millions of agendas before.
And once that structure is in place, you have to ensure it sounds appropriate for the audience, which brings up the second strength, which is tone mapping.
Tone mapping is huge.
It's fascinating how easily you can get an AI to toggle between completely different personas. Like you can ask it to write an email to your staff about a new mandatory training module and direct it to be professional but approachable.
Yeah.
And it effortlessly hits that warm, collaborative tone. But then, in the same breath, you can ask for a formal executive-level memo justifying a massive software upgrade to your board of directors.
And it just flips a switch.
Instantly.
Yeah.
The language instantly shifts. It drops the warmth. It gets sharper, more direct, highly formal.
Well, the mechanism behind that flexibility is rooted in how the model maps language in its training data. It has learned to associate certain vocabularies and sentence structures with specific emotional or professional context.
Okay, that makes sense.
And this saves a massive amount of revision time. I mean, you no longer have to spend 20 minutes rewriting a single paragraph because it sounds a little too casual for, say, a strict compliance officer.
I hate doing that.
We all do. You just simply prompt the system to elevate the formality, and it adjusts the vocabulary and syntax automatically.
So the architecture is solid, the tone is dialed in, but, what happens when you are just sprinting between meetings, trying to fire off that perfectly toned update, and you just flat out forget to include the deadline for the new procedure?
Which happens all the time.
Humans do this constantly. We rush and we drop critical details.
Which brings us perfectly to the third strength. Completeness. Human
yeah.
beings, especially busy professionals dealing with constant interruptions, we suffer from memory lapses. We forget to explicitly state who is affected by a policy change, or, we leave out the specific date it goes into effect.
Oh, I've definitely sent that email and immediately had to send a follow-up with the date.
Exactly. But AI models rarely forget the standard components of a document type. If you ask for a project delay justification, the model's training dictates that a complete justification must include the original timeline, the root cause of the delay, the mitigation strategy, and the new expected delivery date.
So it just hits all the required beats systematically.
It does. It doesn't forget them because statistically, they are part of the pattern.
Man, for you listening, Think about those straightforward, moderate stakes tasks just clogging up your to-do list right now.
The dreaded list.
Yeah, routine project updates, basic policy reminders, weekly summaries. Using this drafting partner cuts that administrative burden in half. You get the structure, the appropriate tone, and a completeness check in mere seconds.
Yeah, for routine, high-volume communication, it acts as a massive multiplier of your time.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, yes.
A tool this fast and this smooth is also a massive, often invisible trap if you are not paying close attention.
It's a huge trap.
Right, because a poorly written draft from a rushed human is incredibly easy to spot. The grammar is bad, the formatting is messy, the sentences trail off. Our brains recognize those visual cues and immediately go on high alert.
We know something's wrong.
Exactly. But an AI draft reads beautifully. And a draft that reads beautifully but completely misses the point is really dangerous.
It is the definition of a hidden hazard. Understanding the specific mechanisms of where AI tools fail in professional communication is just as vital as knowing where they succeed.
Definitely.
And the most glaring failure across the board is a complete and utter lack of organizational context.
Okay, break that down for us.
Well, the model does not exist in your workplace. It has no lived experience of your company. It doesn't know your reporting structure. It doesn't know the institutional history of a specific recurring problem. And it certainly does not understand the delicate political dynamics of your leadership team.
Oh, man. The sources give a brilliant illustration of this blind spot.
It's such a good example.
It is. So, let's say you ask the AI to write a memo to your vice president explaining a recent budget variance. You went over budget this quarter, and you need to explain why in a formal document.
Right. So the AI will immediately produce a very competent, very generic corporate memo about budget variances.
Naturally.
It'll sound professional, accountable, and, appropriately apologetic. But what the AI cannot possibly know is that your VP has been highly skeptical of your specific department's spending for the last 2 quarters.
Oh, boy.
Right. It doesn't know the VP is already frustrated and looking for an excuse to audit your team.
And the model definitely doesn't know that this specific budget variance is actually due to a pre-approved capital purchase that the VP personally signed off on 3 months ago.
Exactly.
So if you just grab the AI's generic apology and send it, you look completely incompetent. You are apologizing for something you had explicit permission to do, which just signals to a skeptical leader that you cannot manage your own ledger.
It's a disaster.
Those nuanced political and historical details change absolutely everything about how that memo needs to be framed. And the AI is entirely blind to them.
Completely blind.
But wait, couldn't I just build a better prompt to fix that?
Yeah.
Like tell the system, hey, the VP is annoyed, make sure to mention the capital purchase we made in Q2, and use a highly deferential tone to smooth things over.
Well, yes, you absolutely should include those specific facts in your prompt. That is part of good prompting.
Okay.
But relying entirely on tone instructions leads directly into the second major trap, which is the tone mismatch at the organizational level.
What do you mean?
You can tell the AI to be formal or deferential,
Mm.
but the AI's definition of formal is an aggregate average of all corporate text it has ever processed.
Ah, I see.
It does not know your specific company culture. Formal means drastically different things in different buildings, like some healthcare systems or engineering firms or financial institutions. They expect hard empirical data in every single communication.
Right, just give me the number.
Exactly. They want bullet points, percentages, and raw numbers. But other organizations have culture that prefers a conversational narrative. A detailed story that explains the why behind the numbers.
I have absolutely worked in places where if you send a narrative email, people just ignore it.
Oh, completely.
They won't read past the first line. They just want the spreadsheet attached.
Right. And the AI defaults to that generic average corporate tone. So if your specific organizational culture demands hard data in brevity, and the AI generates a beautifully written, formal 3-paragraph narrative,
It's going to land completely flat.
totally flat, it will feel instantly like it was written by an outsider who doesn't understand how things are done in your office. Because it was.
Wow. What's fascinating here is how our brains react to that polished writing, which brings us to the most insidious danger, I think. The false confidence trap.
Yes, the false confidence trap is terrifying.
It is. This is rooted in a psychological concept called cognitive fluency. When human beings read something that is grammatically perfect, smoothly transitioning from point to point, and utilizes authoritative, sophisticated vocabulary, Our brains naturally process it very easily.
It just flows.
Right. And because it is easy to read, our cognitive filters just power down, and we instinctively assume the underlying information must be true and accurate.
It's a dangerous assumption.
AI-generated drafts sound incredibly polished, and that linguistic polish creates a profound false sense of security that actively masks factual gaps.
It's the ultimate confident liar.
Seriously.
Because of how these models actually work,
Yeah.
generating the most statistically probable next word in a sequence, they don't have an internal database of truth. They are predicting text. They're not looking up facts.
That is such a key distinction.
And the source material highlights a scenario that illustrates this perfectly. Imagine you ask the AI to draft a recommendation for a new departmental staffing model. The AI analyzes your prompt and confidently writes that your proposed model is fully consistent with current CMS guidelines.
Oh, wow. Okay, for anyone outside of healthcare listening, CMS stands for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services.
Right.
They are the massive federal agency that dictates the incredibly strict compliance rules hospitals have to follow to get paid. So if you read that your new plan is consistent with CMS guidelines, you think, fantastic, we are fully compliant, let's ship this.
Exactly. But the AI didn't actually verify your plan against the Federal Register. It simply predicted that a professional healthcare memo about staffing should probably mention CMS compliance.
Because it's a common phrase in that context.
Exactly. It might be referencing outdated rules from 4 years ago that no longer apply.
Yeah.
Or it might be pulling guidelines that apply to an entirely different care setting, like a rural outpatient clinic instead of an urban surgical ward.
But it sounds so sure of itself.
It delivers that wildly inaccurate information with absolute, unwavering, authoritative confidence. And a busy professional rushing to get the document out the door before their next meeting will experience that cognitive fluency we talked about.
They just skim it.
They'll skim the perfectly structured paragraph, see the authoritative tone, nod, and hit send. The professional sheen actively bypasses our critical thinking.
That is terrifying. So what does this all mean for you listening to this right now? I mean, your inbox is still full. You still have those memos and project updates to write.
They aren't going away.
No. So how do you actually integrate this drafting partner into your daily routine without stepping on a massive corporate landmine?
Well, it requires a fundamental shift in how you view your job responsibilities. Working with AI means you are engaging in a completely different workflow.
Okay.
If you use an LLM to generate your first drafts, your primary role is no longer writer. You are now functioning as an editor and a manager.
The sources use a fantastic analogy for this transition.
That's my favorite part.
You have to treat the AI like a highly competent, incredibly fast, but brand new employee. Like it is their very first day on the job.
That is the perfect mental framework. Imagine a 22-year-old and junior staffer on their first day walks into your office and hands you a draft of a critical policy memo destined for the CEO. What do?
Right.
You don't just take the paper out of their hand, sign your name at the bottom, and forward it directly to the executive suite.
Never. That would be career suicide.
Because you know the new hire doesn't know the landscape yet.
Yeah.
You sit down and you read the document with a fine-tooth comb.
You have to.
You check their facts against your own knowledge. You adjust the framing, because you know the CEO hates certain buzzwords. You add historical context about, say, a failed initiative from 3 years ago that the new employee couldn't possibly know about.
Right, because they just got here.
Exactly. And you tweak the tone to make sure it matches the established relationship you've built with the leadership team over the years. Working with an AI drafting partner is the exact same management process.
You shift your energy from building every single sentence from scratch to reading critically.
Exactly.
You are reading for accuracy, for audience appropriateness, and for organizational alignment. You are injecting the specific human nuance and institutional memory that the machine inherently lacks.
And this leads to the most important bottom line of this entire deep dive: accountability.
Yes.
The tool is just a highly capable, completely uninformed partner. Your job is to bring the executive judgment, the context, and the accountability. When a document goes out with your name attached to it, you are entirely responsible for every single word it contains.
100%.
Not the algorithm, not the tech company that built the language model. You.
You cannot sit in a meeting with your vice president and say, oh, sorry, the budget memo was totally tone deaf and contained fake federal guidelines. ChatGPT wrote it.
Oh, imagine saying that.
That excuse does not fly in any professional environment.
It absolutely does not.
Yeah.
The artificial intelligence generated the initial draft.
Yeah.
But you own the final product. period.
Okay, let's take a breath and recap the journey we've been on.
We've covered a lot.
We really have. We started with the universal dread of the blank page at the end of a long day. And the reality is, AI is a brilliant, genuinely revolutionary way to overcome that paralysis.
It really is.
It deeply understands the patterns of professional communication, it builds highly sound structural scaffolding, and it handles basic tone direction beautifully. For routine, moderate stakes work, it is a massive time saver.
A huge multiplier.
But the required trade-off for that incredible speed is extreme vigilance. You have to recognize its total lack of organizational context, its complete blindness to office politics, and the very real danger of its polished false confidence. Your role has to shift from a generator of raw content to an expert, highly critical editor.
Right. We've established that AI is the ultimate shortcut for getting words onto a screen, effectively solving the blank page problem.
Yep.
But I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder on your commute or, during your next coffee break.
Ooh.
If we completely stop struggling with that blank page, if we always let our brand new artificial employee write the first draft of every single memo, every complex strategy document, every nuanced policy,
Yeah.
what happens to our own ability to think deeply about a problem?
Oh, wow. That's a great question.
The physical, sometimes frustrating act of writing from scratch isn't just a way to record what we already know. The messy, human process of writing is often the very mechanism we use to discover what we actually think.
Right, like figuring it out as you go.
Exactly. It's in the struggle to articulate a concept sentence by sentence that we realize our logic has a massive hole in it, or that our proposed strategy needs serious refining.
I've definitely experienced that halfway through writing an email.
We all have. We gain incredible, unprecedented efficiency by outsourcing the draft, but we have to ask ourselves, do we risk flattening out our own unique professional voice and losing the cognitive workout that makes us experts in the first place?
A lot to think about the next time you open a new document and see that blinking cursor. Keep questioning the tools you use, keep injecting your own unique context into everything you touch, and remember who truly owns the final product. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, don't let the blank page intimidate you. You've got this.